I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Trish.
Mrs. Brew?
Here.
Mr. Kramer?
Here.
Mr. Menegini?
Here.
Mr. Marraro?
Here.
Mr. Pop?
Do I have a motion to excuse Mr. Pop?
I'll make the motion to excuse Mr. Pop. Second.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Move on to the approval of the agenda. We do have some changes, right?
Yeah, the presentation at number 9, Dean's not able to make it tonight.
And that's going to take place tomorrow, correct?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Move on to the approval of the minutes. Does anybody have any questions on the minutes?
I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda first, Candy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Second.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17th, 2020.
I'll make a motion we approve the minutes.
Second.
Mr. Marraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Move on to approval of manifest 2020-05. Brett, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
Jeff?
Yep. Ray, page 1. Climate pump and well drill, install new 25-horse motor at Argon shaft. Can you tell me about that? What is that exactly?
Yeah, we have a 60 horse and a 25 horse over at the Argon pumps, Argon shaft.
Okay.
And the
That's
20
pump station?
Yeah, no, that's the mine shaft for keeping the water tables
Okay.
low. And the 25 went out, and so we had to replace that.
Put the 25 in? That was a new
Yeah,
whole thing?
that was the whole thing. Yeah, it's done.
I assume it's running, they're totally done with it?
Yep, it's good to go.
Page 2, last item, professional services, GEI consultants. Professional service for salt shed.
Yep. We contracted with GEI to put together site plan and also pavement specs, or pavement specs for that project. So,
To replace the salt shed?
yeah.
Just a question, I mean, do we have, as a municipality, do we have to get a PI involved every time we do a project like that?
No, but it is a commercial site plan, so when I manage from a zoning standpoint, commercial site plans, I do have them get a professional site plan.
Okay.
In this case, I think it's prudent because we still need to get pavement specs anyway for this particular situation. Plus, I wanted them to make sure with the siting that, you know, we utilize the property correctly.
Okay.
So,
I can agree with that, because I kind of looked at it like a glorified garage, you know, that we could just put up, but I hear you.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Page 3. Just a quick one, just from my own knowledge, Christine Hamlin. Reimbursement for heavyweight sheet protection? What's heavyweight sheet protection?
I have no idea. The museum handles
For the
their-
files.
Heavyweight sheet protection?
Yeah, she bought them for the files. They
Like
got so
old
many
papers or something like that that were protected?
papers, yeah.
Okay.
That's been an issue for a while, I think. It's been
And she's
quite a
the
while.
head of the museum too, just so you.
Yeah, that comes out of the museum fund.
Down under communications, same page. Eagle Comtronics Incorporated. 66 green label, blah, 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 $1,261. Can we get clarification on what that is?
Sure.
It's under Trunkland distribution, but it doesn't make any sense to me under Trunkland distribution. Page 4 of 6, FDS, first column, electric utility fund, towards the bottom, FDS, hydro maintenance, 19 and 20, 1788.46. What is that?
We approved that.
I'll have to pull an invoice that went through the electric department.
I think that
Okay.
was approved, or that's under his professional contract. I can't remember what it
I'll
was
get some
for.
explanation.
Yeah,
on
no
it.
worries, no worries. And the one right under it too, is it PFM Financial Advisors, annual disclosure report, $1,000?
Yeah, that was for our bond
Oh,
rating.
Bond rating?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be an annual fee too.
$1,000 every year for annual fee? Okay.
Yeah, when you maintain your bond ratings.
I got the same thing on the next page, guys. I got FDS and, water system maintenance pump checks. It's only $125, but I'm just wondering, is that something we have to have done for the state, or?
No, it's probably something with the SCADA. FDS.
What's SCADA?
Yeah, FDS handles our SCADA.
Okay, maybe I need to get down to the,
We have an integrator program that we use for SCADA, and we had a contract with another company that they had to, we ended up paying mileage and travel and whatever else for them to come in, and FDS is a local Iron Mountain company, and he went and got certified, and
good,
yeah, he handles that for us, so.
good. Right underneath that, GEI Consultants, Water System Engineering Services,
Yeah, we still
$3,438.
have, they're still finishing up the final phases of our AMP program. We had service line and well site analysis.
And that's all I have.
Lee?
Well, you covered most of the ones I had, Jeff. Except one item here. I know that, if I remember right, the pool car was damaged, or I thought it was the cop car that got damaged for $2,000 worth of repair on it.
Yeah, that was a pool car. No, well, that's an old cop car, new pool car.
Oh, okay.
It was in transition,
Oh, okay, okay.
so.
That's all I have.
Do I have a motion?
Motion that we approve manifest dated February 28th in the amount of, sorry guys, $334,908.39.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Anyone wishing to address the council on an agenda item shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the records.
Just watching? Yep.
All right, we'll move on to, I need a motion to go into public hearing.
I'll make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Mr. Anderson.
Okay, we have two public hearings tonight, so we're going to need to go in and out of them separately. But the first one is for right-of-way, an old alley, I guess, right-of-way on Block 5, Briar Hill Mining Company's addition. And it's between blocks 1, 2, 3, or lots 1, 2, 3, and 8, 9, 10. And that's on the city's lot, our city-owned lot, that, where we have the salt shed, where we're gonna be moving the salt shed location, putting the new building up. The reason it's not the whole block is because we have two houses that are on the south end of that block, and, we need to have, at least the one house for sure has access off the alley. The other house doesn't really have access, but it doesn't make sense to vacate behind that house. So we just need to have it vacated beyond those two properties. We did send letters out to all the properties that are in, around that block, and we received one letter back, or a couple letters back, no objection. So.
Any questions, comments? Anyone in the audience? All right, do I have a motion to go back into regular session?
Yeah, motion, go back to regular session.
Support.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes?
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Move on to communication.
Oh, wait, I still have one more public hearing.
Oh. I thought you, okay. I should have stayed in.
Oh, well, we have to go in and out because
Oh, we
there's
do?
there's two
Okay.
separate actions,
All right.
so.
I need a motion to go
I'll
back.
make a motion, we go into public hearing.
Support.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the same type of situation, other than it's now Block 4. Block 4 is the block that Milwaukee Broach sits on, and when we pulled the information for the previous public hearing for Block 5, we could not locate any action that we actually vacated the right-of-way, the old alley, on this block, so it actually goes right in the middle of the Milwaukee Broach facility. So that was never the intention, obviously, so thought we'd take this time, since we're working on vacating Block 5, let's go ahead and vacate Block 4. And so it's basically the same situation, sent letters to property owners all around that block, and we, at this point, didn't receive any letters back.
Questions, comments? Okay. I need a motion to go back into regular session.
Motion, we go back into regular session.
Support.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Move on to communications. Resolution 2020-02, vacate public right-of-way between lots 1 and 3 and lots 8 of 10, Block 5, Briar Hill Mining Company's addition.
Okay, as far as the procedures go, we have passed the resolution I'm providing for you tonight, and then if it's approved, we'll get it executed, and our city clerk can do the necessary paperwork to submit it to the state for official vacating.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion, Resolution 2020-02 be approved.
Second.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes. Move on to resolution 2020-03, vacate public right-of-way between lots 1-5 and lots 6-10 of Block 4, Briar Hill Mining Company's addition.
It's the same procedure.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, resolution 2020-03, vacate public right-of-way between lots 1-5 and lot 6-10 of Block 4, Briar Hill Mining Company's addition.
Support.
Mr. Menigini?
Yes.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
I'd just like to make a little comment on this. Paperwork. It's just ridiculous. The things you have to go through to do a simple thing like that.
Move on to approval, City of Norway, defined contribution, 457 contract documents. Mr. Anderson.
Okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. This is something that employees have been working on since early fall. The city moved to a defined contribution plan for new hires starting in 2013. And we always had a defined contribution program, but it was voluntary. There were a couple of plans that we used. The city had very little hand in selecting companies. It was kind of employee-driven at that time. And in 13, when we really moved towards having more participation and it being part of the city program, we found out that one of the programs that we utilized was MetLife. And MetLife, we realized we didn't have the adequate contract documents. So we spent some time in 13, we got those contract documents put together and the council approved it. This past year, employees started kind of communicating amongst themselves, myself included, that we haven't been really happy, not only from employee standpoint, but from an employer standpoint, on communications with our plan trustee. So this fall, everybody got together and we talked about it, and we decided let's go ahead upon ourselves to investigate alternatives to plan holder. And so we interviewed 3 different companies for a plan, and we actually, local company here, they're represented with Voya, and they came in, and employees were very happy with the presentation. We were happy, and from the staff's perspective, we were happy with what they were going to be able to offer. It's no cost to the city other than our contractual obligation for match. So what we need to do is, in order to move, we need to get our plan documents approved by council.
I have questions.
Sure.
Who's the admin? Who's the local admin?
It would be down here, it's actually Danielson's, but it's out of general agency.
General agency.
Yeah. Holmberg's general agency.
Yeah, so you got Messer and the boys? You got
Yeah.
Messer from?
Yeah.
Did you look at anybody else?
Yep, we looked at a company out of Iron Mountain, and there was actually a group out of Marquette that we worked with back when we were talking with MetLife.
Okay.
So,
And so, good, okay, that's what I had. Thanks.
okay.
And everybody was happy with that.
Very happy, very happy. We looked at their results. We looked at, one of the keys that we have in, from an administrator standpoint and from a user standpoint is online access. If you want to have your hands in it, you want to see what their tools are, and also what kind of support they give. So if an employee doesn't want to, but wants to at least have meetings and talk and so on and so forth, that there's somebody that they can talk to. And so those are 2 of the big keys that we highlighted. I think that everybody was, impressed with, well, I think out of all 3 were actually pretty good with what they offered, but the consensus was the Voya.
And what is actually our contractual?
We do a 1-to-1 match up to 6%.
And they,
All the plan costs are in the fees. All the fees are,
Doesn't cost a dime.
yeah, it's all within the plan with the employees.
Any other questions? If not, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, city approves the defined contribution 457 contract documents.
Support.
And I also have on the recommendation, the city manager and city treasurer be signatory to sign on behalf of the city. And the reason we're doing this is because as people come and go, one of the issues we've had in the past is they'll have somebody's name on a document, and if it's approved at the person's name to sign it, then we have to there's a lot of paperwork involved. And so if we do it I talked with the folks from Voya, if we do it this way, then that's a simple form if we have to change.
and everybody's happy with that too.
Yeah,
Can you add that?
Moving on.
so if we could add that to the motion.
Mr. Moraro?
Yes.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Approval of Department of Public Works Unit 102 equipment repair.
Okay, on this particular item, request from our shop foreman to have Unit 102 be repaired at UP Truck. It's an international, they're an international dealer, service provider. And so we had, under his normal, and I gave this in my write-up, but under his normal MDOT DOT inspection, he found some areas that needed to be repaired, and he was not in a position to do the work himself, so he wants to send it out to UP Truck.
Any questions? I need a motion.
Make a motion that UP Truck be approved to repair DPW unit number 102 for a cost not to exceed $1,676.27.
Second.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yeah, yes.
Anyone wishing to address the council on any item of interest shall do so now at the podium. State your name and address for the record. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person. Move on to mayor and council comments. Brett?
I have none.
I have none. Jeff?
None.
Lee?
Just like to say, don't forget that this weekend coming, time change, spring ahead, and next Tuesday is the election. I realize it's just a primary, but there's 5 other items on there, and remember, if you don't vote, you have no say. That's it.
Mr. Anderson?
I have nothing.
All right, you want to explain a couple of questions from last week?
Oh, sure.
Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, there was the raised feed mill, Coleman Engineering, Norway Spring,
Okay, sure.
and Mead and Hunt.
Okay, so there was, the question came up, and these are all manifest questions, the calcium flakes that were
Yeah.
purchased at Ray's Feed Mill, those are used on the roof.
Do they work?
They worked a little bit, yeah, sure. You know, it's not perfect, but,
Out here in front, by the police
Is
station.
that better than
yes.
salt?
yeah, I think it's designed for putting out on the roof. as
How much did it
opposed
cost?
$678.
Really?
to- We had quite a nice dam.
Yeah, it wasn't, yeah,
That
it
salt
was
we got in
bad.
that salt we got in our knockdown garage works really good.
I know, but it would take the roof off. That's why people put it on their sidewalks, and I'm telling you, you put it on your concrete at home, putting rock salt on your concrete. I mean, it'll take the cream right off your concrete. So, yeah.
I've heard that about.
Yeah.
So how much was here, do you know? I mean, is that 500 pounds or 200 pounds, whatever? It doesn't say a quantity, that's all.
Okay.
Just find out for me, that's all.
Okay. On Coleman Engineering, at $3,000, that was engineering for the federal aid road coming up in 21 through 24. Again, that was, we put together the proposals for that, and just a note on that is that we're doing the engineering right now. Under the MDOT schedule, we're hoping to bid the project, or have what they call a GI, which is a grade inspection, to make sure the plans are all set. That should happen probably, let's say June-ish, July, and get on their bidding schedule. If we really pushed it, we might be able to get this thing bid by September, but we're still looking at a 2021 early construction. So I've always targeted, you know, right when construction season breaks in 21, then we're going to be doing the Main Street going up the hill. So that's
That's what I wanted
That's
to
a
make
good-
sure.
Yeah.
people
a lot of
know.
questions come up about when that hill is
We
going to be
gotta,
done.
we gotta get that.
You know, and I'm going to put that out in the newsletter, in the April newsletter, because people ask about priorities. Well, we have an 80% grant to do the job. And so, you know, we actually have that whole stretch from the viaduct all the way up through to the city limits. Under this federal aid, it's broken up into 3 different construction years. But they're all 80% grant under the federal aid program. So we'll start with the hill, you know, going up the hill as the first priority, and then we'll be working our way, you know,
Is
down.
that 2 separate grants or just 1 grant?
Well, there's actually 2 separate programs. There's what they call Rural Task Force and Urban. The Urban program goes from the viaduct up to
top of it.
16th Avenue. Well, it's up through 16th, up to 14th Avenue, where the road comes back. And then beyond that is what they call the Rural Task Force, which is a separate, it's all federal aid money, but it's a separate program. So we're gonna be pairing both of those. But again, I mean, if we did the work this year and said we had to do it before program would start, then we'd lose the 80% grant money.
Was the DDA thinking of doing Main Street?
Main Street?
Down the...
We were looking at it, but they also want to see if we could possibly tie that in with one of those grants, because that's also eligible from US 2 up to the viaduct. But we're going to have to, within the next few years, address Main Street with the cracks. We might try and see if we can do some crack sealing coming up, because if you look at the surface, it's mostly the cracks. So if we could do some good crack sealing, it probably will get us by, another 3, 4, 5 years.
Is there something now, hopefully the weather gets warmer here, is there something different we can put in them holes? Because obviously we all know it, especially this time of the year, they fill them and it comes out.
Yeah, we can,
Is there something?
there's a more expensive, that's CP7, which is a more expensive product to put down. It binds a lot more. Typically, we use that in the winter as opposed to the summer, but, if that's something that would probably hold,
Yeah, 'cause that road's horrible.
it is.
Price-wise, what's the big difference per ton?
I don't know exactly right off the top of my head, but
I don't know.
it's,
I'll take your word for it.
it's up there, but, if you're using, half as much or three, a
Oh,
third
yeah.
as much, then maybe it's worth doing it, so.
Exactly.
I'll talk to Dave and see what he thinks about that.
Because our potholes are definitely back.
Well, they're back, it's pothole season. But I will tell you that, in the trips to Lansing, trips downstate, we were out in Washington DC last week. I can tell you that, their roads are every bit as bad or not worse than ours. And you're in the state and federal capital. And, their roads are bad.
You got a rough stretch on US 2 going to Escanaba.
Yeah.
One area there's really bad.
Yeah. So, I think it's an epidemic that's across the whole country.
Well, when you talk to different people too, when we're in Washington and that, everybody's having the same problems. Well, we're not getting any funding. And then it sounds like now the funding's gonna go nothing to local streets.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna help us out at all.
Yeah, the new funding they're talking about for more road improvements in the state of Michigan or increased taxes, the sticking point has been that they're not going to put it into the Act 51 formula, which means it's not going to filter down to your local streets, and that's where we're adamantly against that. If you're going to add money, put it into the normal formula, because otherwise it's just going to either go to MDOT or it's going to go to Detroit. I mean, one or the other, and we're not going to see a penny of it. So we'll see it at the pump, but we won't see it in our,
Thank you, Governor.
yep.
Well, that thing ain't passing.
It's going to have a hard sled. So, okay, the next one was a Norway Spring. It was $175. It was for salt, not slat. So salt, and it was water softener salt down for the fire hall. They have a water
I don't know
softener.
what slat was. I thought it was like the latest, greatest, street drug out there or something like that.
Yeah, no, it's salt.
Well, I assumed that's what it was, but I wanted
Yeah.
to make sure.
And then the meat and hunt compliance. That's typically our highest bill for them is always December, January, because that's when we do our annual report. And
Yeah.
they have to
Comes up
put all
every year.
that together, so.
Well, they got a hefty fee for doing it, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
Is it?
It's a lot of work, yeah.
Well, didn't we put that out on bids the last time and we?
No,
stayed?
we haven't. That's something that we're gonna talk about doing this year. Because we really, they have such a good relationship with FERC, and we have such a good relationship with FERC, that you don't wanna bring somebody in that would in any way
Tip the boat.
tip the boat. Yeah, exactly, because, every time that we have a hiccup, every time that, we have to be communicating, we communicate as a group, we don't just pick up the phone and call FERC. I mean, we make sure they have all the information, and be honest with you, or be totally blunt about it, the FERC right now out of Chicago, who we contact, they have a very positive view of the city, with how we're handling the upgrades, how we're handling any issues that they come up with. So, that it's I don't want to call it a touchy thing, but it's definitely something that, we need to be careful of and thoughtful of as we move forward.
And one thing that we never had before, if you go out of your window now, we have to have a big report, why we went out of the window, the reasonings.
Yeah.
So if you go out of the window, and that's really important, because they're really
Oh, yeah.
being strict
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, and, with the turbine work that we've had, between the work itself and the startup, the chances of violating that band is higher, so, that the communications is that much more important. But we actually have another group that's interested, and so I think that we should probably solicit this year and and get a
Wouldn't look,
proposal.
wouldn't look
Competition is a good thing.
Set of
And we can
eyes.
take all the intangibles into account before we make a decision, obviously.
Oh, yeah, we'll take into account. So that's it, that's all my questions from last meeting.
And you had no comments? No? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Support.
Mr. Kramer?
Yes.
Mr. Menegini?
Yes.
Mr. Mararo?
Yeah.
Mrs. Brew?
Yes.
Raymond, what's
Being adjourned.
on the, what are we doing tomorrow?
Hey, Jason,
Is this what this
I
is
didn't
for?
recognize you sitting
What,
there,
she's
sorry.
here? You want some?
No, not tomorrow.